Chapter 6. How Urganda gave the lance to the Child of the Sea, and how he delivered King Perion from those who would have slain him. Then the Child of the Sea gave his shield and helmet to Gandalin, and proceeded. They had not ridden far when they saw a damsel coming on her palfrey, and she had in her hand a lance with its belt. And presently another damsel, who came by a different path, joined her, and they both came on, communing together. When they reached him, she with the weapon said, "Take this lance, sir, and I tell you that within 3 days it will stand ye in good stead, as therewith ye shall deliver from death the house whence ye are descended." He wondered at her words, replied, "How, damsel, can a house live or die?" She answered, "So it will be, and this lance I give you for some services from you I expect. The first whereof shall be when you shall do an honor to one of your friends, whereby he shall be put into the worst danger that any knight hath been in 10 years' space." "Damsel," said he, "such honor, if God please, I will not do my friend." She answered, "So it will be," and spurred her palfrey and departed. Now this was Urganda the Unknown. The other damsel, who remained, then said to him, "Sir knight, I am from a strange land, and if it please you, will abide with you till the 3rd day, and defer my journey to my mistress." "Whence are you?" said he. "From Denmark," and he knew this was truth, for he remembered the language of Arena in her childhood. Then he said, "If ye please, damsel, to go with me, I will defend ye too with my power. But pray ye, know ye that other damsel?" "Never till this meeting. She told me that the lance was for the best knight in the world, and desired me, after her departure, to tell ye that she bare you great affection, and that her name was Urganda the Unknown." "Ah, God," quoth he, "how unfortunate I am, and I cannot find her against her will." And thus devising, they went until the dark evening overtook them. At this time they met a squire, who asked where they were going. "Along the road," replied the child. "That," quoth he, "is true, but if you mean to have lodging, you must turn aside from it. There is no dwelling place near here, except my father's castle, and there ye shall be well entertained." And this the squire did, because far on was a castle which they could not pass without doing battle, and he had never seen the combat of knights errant. So they were well served that night, and on the morrow when they departed, the squire said that he would bring them again up into their way, as far as the castle which they must pass. After riding about 3 leagues, they saw the castle, and a goodly one it seemed, for before it ran a river, and it had a drawbridge, whereon was a fair tower at the end. The damsel and the squires rode first, but as soon as the damsel attempted to pass, 6 fellows armed with curtalises and headpieces seized her bridle, and told her to swear, or she should die. "Swear what?" quoth she. "Swear never to show favor to your lover till he promise you to help King Abies against King Perion." With that she cried aloud for help, and the Child of the Sea caught a hatchet from one of the ruffians and felled him. The rest fell upon him. One he sliced to the eyes, another from the shoulder to the ribs. Seeing this, their comrades fled. "Now, damsel, proceed," quoth he, "and evil be it to them that encourage such villainy." But now as they went on, a great noise was heard in the castle, and the damsel told him to take his arms. "Fear not," said he, "where ladies are so evil entreated, there can be no man worth anything." "Sir," quoth she, "I dare not go on unless you take your arms." So he took them, and proceeded through the gate at the castle, where they met a squire lamenting aloud. "Ah, God, they are killing the best knight in the world for not taking an oath which he cannot keep." The Child of the Sea passed him, and saw King Perion beset by 2 knights and 10 halberders, who had slain his horse, and now assailed him on all sides, crying, "Swear or die, traitors!" Quoth the child, "Traitors!" quoth the child, "you shall die for him." With that they called to the porter to shut the castle gate, and half of them, leaving King Perion, fell upon the knight. But soon he had slayed the 2 knights, and rode among the halberds, scattering them, till with the king's help they were all slain, except for some few who got up upon the walls. But then the child alighted and followed them, and some in their fear leapt down. Only two fled into a chamber, where lay an old knight, so aged that he could not rise, who cried out, "From whom are ye fleeing, villains?" "From a knight who hath played the devil in your castle, killed both your nephews and all our comrades." The Child of the Sea had followed them, and bade them show him their master, or he would slay them. And when he saw the old man in bed, he blessed himself and said, "Thou old wretch, art thou on the very edge of the grave, and dost thou maintain such customs?" With these words he made offer to smite off his head. "Ah, mercy!" quoth the old man. "Swear then," said the knight, "that while thou livest no more such treason shall be maintained here." Whereto the old man right gladly took his oath. "Now tell me, wherefore hast thou heretofore kept this custom?" "For the love of King Abies of Ireland, who is my nephew, and because I could not aid him with my body, I wish to assist him with such knights errant as pass this way." "False villain," quoth the Child of the Sea. With that he kicked down the bed, and the old man with it, and commending him to all the devils, left him, and went down into the court, and took the horse of one of the knights whom he had slain, and leading it to King Perion, cried, "Mount, sir, for I little like this place, and those who are in it." Then they departed. The Child of the Sea would not take off his helmet, lest the king should know him. And when Perion asked who he was that he had succoured him in such need, he persisted in concealing himself, till the damsel took his helmet off. Then presently Perion knew him, and it was the youth whom he had knighted at the lady's request. And embracing him, he said, "Truly, I now know you better than before." "Sir," quoth the child, "I knew you well, and it was you who gave me the order of knighthood, wherewith so pleased God. I shall serve you in the wars of Gaul." They came at length to Doubleway, and the knight asked Perion which way he took. "The left," answered the king, "for it leadeth to my country." "God have you then in his keeping," quoth the child, "for I must take the right." Then said Perion, "I pray you remember your promise." So took their leave of each other. The damsel then said to the Child of the Sea, "Sir knight, I have hitherto kept ye company, because the damsel who gave you the lance said she brought it for the best knight in the world, and surely I have seen so much I know it was truth. Now I will shape my course towards my lady." "And who is she?" "Oriana, the daughter of King Lusart." But when he heard his lady named, his heart trembled in such sort that he had nigh fallen from his horse. Gandalin, who saw him totter, ran to him, and he cried, "My heart faileth me." The damsel, thinking some sudden sickness was the cause thereof, would have had him unarmed, but she told her it was needless, and that he was liable to such seizures. They then parted company, the damsel and the squire towards the court of Languines, and the Child of the Sea and Gandalin going where fortune guided them. 2 days they rode without adventure, and on the third about midday arrived in sight of a goodly castle that belonged to Galpano, the most valiant knight in those parts, but who followed the service of the wicked enemy, instead of the lords, who had endowed him with strength and courage. He had a custom to make all ladies and damsels that passed his castle enter in, where forcibly he took his will of them, and made them swear never to take other lovers than him, which, if they refused, he beheaded them. And what knights came he combated with his 2 brethren, whom, if they conquered, he would force the conquered to deal with himself, who was the strongest knight in all that company, and he made them swear to call themselves the conquered by Galpano. Else he cut off their heads, and, when they had sworn, stripped them all of all they had, and sent them away on foot.